Yeni Malatyaspor back at the top level? Could Burak Yilmasmåen manage his side to another astonishing season?
Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe yourself.
Well, it would be hard when the board keeps rejecting improvements to our facilities while our finances are actually fine. And when all our players are demanding new contracts when we have less than half of the budget of the next smallest team. And loads of people have got wage rises. Well, I can't complain. I got one too. As expected, the season preview has us in last, with 1,000 to 1 odds of winning the league. So it's gonna be a tough season. But then again, that is better odds than when Leicester won the Prem. To start our first season back in the Super League since 2022, we've got Jose Mourinho's Fenerbahce, away from home. They started best, as Rodrigo Becao missed this chance early, before they scored this header over Çalek. In the 23rd, Jiku handled the ball in the box, so he got a pen, and Denizli missed! Not long into the second, Akar played a nice pass into Denizli, who decided to shoot from long range, despite having a completely open channel to run into. And as Dzeko scored this header in the 66th, we lost 2-0 to Jose Mourinho.
I'm fantastic.
Against Igdir, we went 1-0 down early once again. But we scored basically straight from kickoff, as Akar played this great pass through to Denizli, which I was convinced was offside, but thanks to their left back, it wasn't. So Denizli scored with a nice finish. And straight from kickoff, he scored again, this time from Ekmen's nice pass through. We made our day even better, as Ekmen scored as well, from Akar's brilliant pass through. And after a consolation goal for them, we won 3-2 to get our first win and £54,000 apparently. You actually get 54k for every win in the league, and 27k for every draw. The third game, we somehow only managed a 1-1 draw, despite being a man more for half an hour. They scored first through Coyote. And then Akar equalized for us in quite a dull game. Against Göztepe, we had another disappointing game. They scored early in the second, before their goalie somehow saved this. They then doubled it in the 64th. And as we only got one goal, we lost 2-1. The next game, I was expecting a game of football, like usual. But we decided to play bloody ping pong. Bunyamin, on his debut in the starting 11, hit the bar 27 seconds in, and then scored 5 minutes in. Denizli then did some voodoo shit to get their centre-back to back off, so he could score with a nice finish. Emirkan then conceded a pen, which bloody Pushkas scored, so I naturally berated Emirkan and took him off. And then Erdogan just stopped running, so Pushkas scored again. And then, right before the interval, we got a pen for a tackle on Bunyamin, which was clearly outside the box, and Denizli scored it. After the ping pong, nothing happened in the second half, so we win 3-2 against Bodrum. Burak Yilmasmåen has just been offered a new contract, but rather than accepting it straight away, he wanted a bit more job security, and a bit more money to spend on new weights for his gym. So he demanded a bit more money, which they declined and said f*** to. A dull 1-0 win over Kocaelispor followed the contract debacle, as Denizli once again scored. We then played Eyüpspor, a game I thought we should win, but they scored 3 goals in 3 minutes. They literally scored in the 36th, 37th and 38th. What the fuck?
It's time to go!
We started our game against Gençler Birliği with a double crossbar hit 5 minutes in. Thankfully, Denizli scored half an hour later from Haydar's nice low cross. But then Şahin pushed his man in our box, so Popa scored the pen to equalize. We too got a pen, as Duran was tackled, but Denizli managed to miss another pen. So we draw 1-1 with Gençler Birliği, as we only managed to score once from 2.78 XG. The Arsenal boss, Xabi Alonso, has just been spotted at the Malatya Stadium.
What are you doing here? And not in a racist way.
He's apparently here to watch Umut Şahin, so they'll probably come and pick him up in a few months. But he's just conceded a pen, so that's no worry, haha. Before our big game against Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Besiktas, Ekman fractured his upper arm in training, so he's out for 4 to 5 weeks. I'll leave you be to watch the highlights against Besiktas.
Ollie's at the wheel, man. He's doing it. He's doing his thing at the back.
That should have been the closing. I should have let you do it tonight.
And then we lost 2-0 to Samsunspor as well. So we're in 12th after 10 games. It's actually a decent start, and better than I expected, to be honest. Then followed another horror show, this time against Trabzonspor. But finally, after changing the tactics to a way more defensive one, in the 5-2-3, we win a game again. 3-0 against Gaziantep in a great performance. Ekman, on his return from injury, scored once, and Denizli scored the other two. Against Konyaspor, they hit the post 24 minutes in through Ufuk. Or should I say, ooh, Fuk. I hit the post. They then scored as Şahin tackled the ball to them. But we equalized not long after, through Denizli. Çelik then wanted to have some fun, so he took the piss out of their effort. Their goalie pulled off some actual saves though, and some insane ones at that. And then they scored 2 late goals, which were both so annoying, to get a 3-1 win. The youth intake preview is here now though, and God has heard our prayers, cause we have an A at centre back. But the rest of it is once again A cagey affair with Sivasspor was next, as Kerem scored the only goal of the game in the 89th. In the next game, the Ekman-Denizli duo really turned up. Denizli got a hat-trick, and all 3 of them were technically from Ekman's assists. It's time for the presidential elections, and maybe we could see a change of scenery and some new facilities at that. But no, Yahya Çelik has once again won it, and he's not investing. But he has given me a new contract at least. I wanted an extra year though. So they rejected it once again. Hussein wanted to protest that for some reason. So he got a straight red 24 minutes in against Rizespor. So he lost 3-0. Against Ankaragucu, Kadewere opened the scoring 4 minutes in. Their goalie then saved a tap-in from Denizli. Before Erdogan was slower than a snail in his race with Kadewere, so he scored again. We finally scored through Denizli after a nice team attack. But then Ekman missed a huge chance. Before we got a pen in the 65th, which Denizli somehow misses again. I need to take him off pens, man. We then considered a pen, as Jigic pushed his man, so Kadewere made the humiliation complete, as he got his hat-trick. Despite a consolation goal from Kerem, we lost 3-2. Arsenal have now made multiple offers for Umut Şahin, and they are laughable. I'm gonna demand at least 7 million for him, and I know he's worth a lot more. I obviously declined the offers from Arsenal, as they're insulting. So Şahin came into my office himself, and I said I couldn't let him go for less than 8 million. And he accepted. Brilliant! Against Galatasaray we got absolutely cooked. Chanelson, who somehow ended up there instead of at Hamburg, real ones know, scored 10 minutes in. Then Akar wanted to enjoy the scenery. So he stood there with nothing but his in his hand and watched as Chanelson took the ball and scored. They then scored once more to make it a 3-0 humiliation.
Champion Galatasaray.
After that humiliation, 3 Premier League teams in Arsenal, Man City and Spurs all came in with an 8 million offer for Umut Şahin. So the board have actually gone in and accepted it. And all 3 clubs have actually offered him to us on loan till the end of next season. So that's actually quite a good deal. So Umut Şahin will probably leave for the Prem. Against Başakşehir, we actually had a great performance. Haydar and Denizli scored 1 each to get a 2-0 win against one of the bigger clubs in Turkish football. And that means we're 13th at the halfway point. It's actually quite good for our first season back at the top level. And I'm very confident we're staying up. The 20th league game, we lost completely deservedly 2-0 as we just struggled. I mean, just look at this from Hussein and Akar. Are you dumb? But against Jose's Fenerbahce, we didn't. Nothing actually happened until the 75th, as Jose parked his famous bus. The thing that happened though was that Szymanski missed this good chance. But in the 87th, we put together a brilliant counterattack, which was finished off by Kerem. In the 93rd, we got a free kick, which was so poorly delivered from goalscorer Kerem, so they put together a counterattack of their own. And despite Ferhat absolutely clipping down Karwina, they managed to equalize. So a 1-1 draw with José's Fenerbahce. It's a great result, but it would have been so good to win it. Umut Şahin has now officially signed for Arsenal and will leave in the start of June, but come back on loan.
Loans, loans, loans.
It's a sad departure, but it's an offer that couldn't be turned down, to be honest. His departure does also allow us to re-sign key players on bigger contracts. We actually get some decent momentum from the draw with Fenerbahce, as we win 3-1 against Antalyaspor thanks to goals from Haidar, Umut Şahin and Denizli. We then stole a 1-1 draw with Göztepe as Erdogan got our goal, before winning 1-0 against Bodrum thanks to Ekman's goal. And then we lost 3-0 to Kocaelispor. So we're still in 13th after 25 league games. At this point, I decided to sell Kerem. He moved to Fatih for 150k as he'd been so underwhelming since the start, so it makes sense to move him on. Against Eyüpspor, we took the lead late on, through Ekman, but we then managed to concede in the 90th, as we couldn't even keep a clean sheet for 5 minutes. We then expectedly won 2-0 against Gençler Birliği after goals from Ekman and Denizli, before managing a brilliant 0-0 draw with Besiktas to get at least a competent result against a big side after the 7-1 thrashing earlier in the season. But after the game, Solskjaer announced to the press that he wanted to sign our winger Haidar, so I replied with this. The youth intake has just come through, and we have not just one, but 2 brilliant centre-back prospects. One left-footed in Alperen Kalafat, and one right-footed in Yusuf Akarslan. So these 2 lads might just be our centre-back pairing for the foreseeable future. We also have a decent-looking striker in Omurkan Unlu. Bloody hell, do you want any more special effects in your name? Otherwise, there's not a lot to write home about, unfortunately. We then drew 2-2 with Samsunspor in a game we actually deserved to win. Haidar scored 50 seconds in, and the same man scored again in the 65th. In the 30th game, we somehow lost 4-1 to Trabzonspor, as they scored 4 from 1.15 xg. How? That means we're in 12th of the 30 league games, and we're safe from relegation and won't get into Europe. So I'll just say the rest of the results real quick. A deserved 2-0 loss to Gaziantep, a 2-2 draw with Konyaspor as we threw away our 2-goal lead, a 2-1 win over Sivasspor thanks to an incredible start to the game, a 2-2 draw with Kayserispor as Akarslan scored to become the Super League's youngest ever goalscorer, an undeserved 4-1 loss to Rizespor, a deserved 2-0 loss to Ankaragucu, a great 3-3 draw with Galatasaray, and finally a 2-0 loss to Başakşehir. So we finished 14th in our first season back at the top level, which is rather encouraging, to be honest. Now you're probably wondering, where's the cup? Well, we went on a run. We just about won 3-2 against third-tier side Osmaniyespor as Denizli had to score a hat-trick, with the final one coming in 120th minute to make that win happen. We then once again just about won, this time 2-1 against Kırşehir thanks to Haidar scoring the winner in extra time. We then won 1-0 against Afyonspor thanks to Kerem's goal, so we're through to the quarter-final after only beating lower-tier sides. And we've now got Super League side Ankaragucu. We took the lead 7 minutes in through Denizli, which made me think it would be a walk in a park. But it wasn't. They didn't get the equalizer before the 77th though, but as they did, it went to extra time. In the 99th, Erdogan shot straight at their goalie from 4 yards out to miss a huge chance. 4 minutes later, however, Kohli got his second yellow for pushing Haidar, so they're down to 10 men. Straight from kickoff in the second half of extra time, Haidar hit both posts, but it was called offside. And then in the 109th, Erdogan cleared the ball, but the ref blew for a pen because of Umut Şahin pushing his man. Why? So Kadewere scored it to get them the win and a place in the semi-final. And with that, our season is over. It was an encouraging season though, as Denizli claimed the top scorer title once again. He also got named as the 39th best wonder kid in the world. Umut Şahin has developed into a leading Super League player, and he's leaving for Arsenal in a few days. before coming back on loan. Chalik has kind of stalled in his development, and I might try to use Cemil Bayram permanently instead, but we'll see. Serhat Akar has developed nicely and will hopefully continue growing, while Duran Aydogmus has developed insanely quick. He only started playing a lot this season, and he's shot up from a 1.5 star to a 3.5. Both Haidar and Ekman have developed into decent Super League players according to the game, and they are seriously important to this club now. And finally, Alperen Denizli has developed into a good Super League player. I mean, that's obvious to be fair. He's the top scorer in the entire league. But can we keep hold of him? It's gonna be a real challenge, with Premier League sides sniffing around.